Tune in for episode 3 of the House Mama Show, coming up on Wednesday, November 5th at 5 p.m. EST on the YouTube channel House Mama Unity and Community Podcast. You're not going to want to miss this one. Our host Shannon Scott sits down with her longtime friend Leigh Martinelli, and Leigh's story will absolutely blow you away. Born in Colombia, adopted at just 4 years old by a single Italian-American mother, Leigh has lived through experiences that would break most people, but instead of letting abuse define her, she transformed her pain into profound wisdom. From tapping into deep spirituality to traveling the world and gathering insights most of us only dream about. This isn't your typical polished podcast interview. It's raw, it's real, and it's filled with hard-earned wisdom that only comes from walking through fire and coming out stronger. Like, share, and subscribe, because this conversation is going to stay with you long after it ends.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3/4 of the House Mama podcast. We did episode 3 last week and decided that we wanted to redo the episode because we had way too many glitches, spiritual and technical. So we wanted to make sure that Leigh's story got out there the proper way. So this week we are going to be sitting down again with Leigh Martinelli. She is an old friend of mine. We met in 1997 when we both were living in Italy. Our parents were stationed there. Immediate connection, immediate friendship, and we've remained friends, for the past 30 years. So she is going to be on the show today. Last week we had Kevin Allen on. I'm sorry, that was 2 weeks ago because last week was the mistake episode. So 2 weeks ago, the recap was with Kevin. I don't know what the heck just happened. I just lost my whole train of thought live. Anyway, so Kevin said a lot of things that I really felt connected to Leigh's story. Most importantly, he was talking about putting on the armor of God. Leigh came from a background of being born in Colombia at 4 years old. She was adopted by an Italian-American mother. She was left on the footsteps of the orphanage, and she then was a single child to a single parent traveling the world. She has gone through a divorce recently, her spiritual awakening. And it just reminds me so much of what Kevin had said that week about putting on the armor of God. I fully know and believe that she's had divine protection her entire life. And her story is really going to resonate that. So right now we're going to hop into a recap from the week with Kevin. So here's your recap. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2. This week, I have a very old friend of mine, Kevin Allen, on the show. I just found out this is his first podcast. I'm super excited to have you on. I've always had a lot of respect for you.
I am motivating people to not give up in their lives and dust themselves off and go out there and be the best version of them. Like right now, I'm just obsessed with growth. Self-growth is what I'm obsessed with right now. Like every single day, I'm spending time like, all right, what area can I work? I always felt like I was treated like an outcast by people. I never would really fit into any environments. But then I got to the point of, all right, what is the reason for that? It's because I'm supposed to stand out. I'm supposed to use my voice. Like I am supposed to be on the island over here, but I'm not alone because God is walking with me through this journey. So, and like how I feel now is like, bro, I'm like, yo, I don't even want to different about Kevin that you just don't find everywhere. And I want them to know like, that's God, because this was a transition. Like I wasn't this person. Like this glow that you're seeing is him living, doing. Kevin. This is his shine.
He's always been a huge inspiration for me. I love his faith over fear. Fear is only driven by your lack of faith. And All right, all right. So I have already given an introduction to Leigh, so I just want to hop right in and introduce and welcome. Hello, Marcus. Anyway, that was Marcus. He hopped in instead of Leigh. So, oh my gosh. I'm telling you, dude. This has been crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Man. Hello, Leigh. All right. Leigh Martinelli, everybody.
Hi. Thanks for
Hello. Man. It's like I don't even know where to start or end in this with you. The energy around you, dude.
a little crazy, I know.
It is. It calls you. It calls you.
Yeah.
And it blows me away. We were talking, Leigh and I were talking on the phone before this podcast, and we were talking about a lot of the, spiritual connections, and it just really blows me away. Not only the issues that we had last week with, technical issues, man, the energy in my home was insane. Then today, as soon as we tried to get on this podcast today, we were still we were running into technical issues. Hello, Barb. And we were just the connections that we were making spiritually when we first started to try this show, dude. Leigh, I hope you truly understand, which I think you do, how special you are.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. My mom always told me. I never believed her until recently. So, yeah.
Yeah, you really are. And it literally starts with when you were born in Colombia. So tell me about that.
Yeah. So some of my first memories in life were of begging on the streets, living under a bridge, poverty, and the hunger. Like, I still can, if I get hungry even now at this point in time in my life, it still triggers me a little bit. It was actually a long running joke with my grandmother, my mother, and I. They always said that I would always have to have leftovers of whatever the meal was, because when my mom first brought me to the U.S. After she adopted me as a single Italian American mother at the age of 4. I didn't speak any English. She didn't speak a lot of Spanish. And we were eating tuna fish for lunch one day, and happy as could be, happy as a clam, nothing wrong. As soon as we finished, I started bawling out, crying, and they couldn't figure out why I was crying. So finally, my grandmother said, well, maybe she's still hungry. Let's make her some more food. Mm-hmm. So as soon as they made that food, and as soon as I saw it in front of me, I stopped crying. I didn't eat it, but I stopped crying. I just wanted to know that there was more food for me for the next time that I did get hungry. And, it took a while for my mom to really understand that. But when she did understand that, she knew, just let me eat as much as I want,
right.
And even to this day, I still have to have leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's some of the first memories that I have. And then one night, I remember being ripped apart. I don't remember. I feel like it was from a sibling. So, I remember getting ripped apart and being driven somewhere. I think I thought I was being kidnapped. I didn't know what, I was so young, but I was so scared. And it's hard to forget scared, when you're scared like that.
Right.
So I remember being dropped off inside gates, a big orphanage house, a big house.
Mm-hmm.
It was nighttime, so I just got dropped off. So I wasn't sure. I just, as a child, I'm not going to sit still. So I just walked around, and I just remember seeing a bunch of white lights, and it scared the crap out of me. And I thought it was bad. And that's where my fear of the dark came in, like I'm still to this day, like I still need a little like night light because I can't fully be enclosed in darkness. So the next day, I remember the owner of the orphanage found me, and she treated me like her own from the day that she found me. And like, she would take me home with her. Like I was special to her. She would take me home with her when I was sick, and she would take care of me. And she handpicked my mom for me.
Mm. So
when her and my mom met and they started communicating, sent a picture of me to her. My mom said she knew from the moment she saw my picture. And she came out to Colombia, and she started the process of adopting me.
So when you say you were walking around, so like after you were dropped off, you were out there all night?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Just walking around? But
yeah.
You were inside the gates?
It's in the gates. Yeah.
And then they found you the next day?
Yeah, the next morning.
I couldn't even imagine.
It was scary. Hence my fear of the darkness. Like
And you said you saw all the white lights around you. I know you and I have talked about this before, but what did you think it was when you were, a child? And what do you know it to be now?
I thought it was like ghosts, but in my mind, ghosts were bad.
Right.
Like ghosts were bad that came and haunted you and blah, blah, blah. So
right.
Scared the crap out of me. I mean, thinking back now as an adult and with everything that I've been going through, I realize that it's something different, but
that's divine protection, my dude. That's what that was. They were walking around with you at night while, when you're just dropped off in this orphanage, and they were watching you and they were protecting you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So then you moved with your mom. Tell me about that. Tell me about what it was like to now be a part of a home, a part of a family. Excuse me.
I was just grateful.
Yeah.
I just remember being the happiest child. I'm grateful.
Yes.
Because I think I remember the beginning so vividly. To have the total opposite happen, I was just so grateful, but I still had abandonment issues. And, like my mom, she worked for Delta Airlines, so she would travel a lot, and we moved around a lot. And I remember before I really started moving with her, she would get sent to these places, and she wanted to test it out before she brought me into a whole new atmosphere and whatnot. So she would be gone weeks at a time, which would trigger and leave me with a friend of hers, like totally trustable. It was very kosher, but it would trigger my abandonment issues. And I remember sleeping with her picture under my pillow and stuff and crying. And I just remember it being my worst fear of her dying. And that I grew up that was my worst fear.
Right.
Yeah.
Losing her.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you started traveling overseas with her?
So I was about 6, I believe. We moved to Rome for for 6 months, when I was in 2nd grade. And then we moved to California. But then we ended up moving to Amsterdam when I was 7. And from there went to Rome and then to Milan, where I met you. And very
still so weird.
But yeah, we either moved every 6 months or every 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was quite difficult. It was not the best time as a child, but as an adult, I recognize so much like how the experience like
Forms you.
formed me, like made me the person that I am.
Yeah.
But as a child, it was so lonely.
Mm-hmm.
I was an only child, so
Right.
I feel like for me it was even more lonely because, you know, you're the foreigner in the country. You
Right.
know, you're going to a different country and submerging yourself in their culture, in their religions, and their language.
Yep.
You know, so it was hard as a kid.
Yes.
And I didn't feel like I was able to make like such lifelong friendships, even though those friends like you and others, I still speak to this day from Milan, you know,
Right.
and Rome and all the places that I've lived. So,
Right.
but as a kid, you know, you're doing all that moving.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, I just don't, it's just lonely. So
Right.
I hated it as a kid.
Yep.
And I resented my mom for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had the same issues. I resented my parents. I just wanted to go home. And I didn't even know why. I just wanted to go home always. It was always a longing.
Yeah.
Mm.
I just wanted to go where I felt I belonged.
Right.
And I never felt like I belonged.
Yep.
So, and that, I guess like that whole experience, it made me very like open.
Yeah.
Less judgmental, very open to other religions, like everything, anything, you know? So, and very patient towards people who move to the States.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think about it, I mean, I actually remember the feeling I felt not being able to speak any English when I first got here, you know? So I knew that feeling from here, but I also knew that feeling from Europe. So it's like, I'm very open. So
I love sharing that with you because I don't run into many people, obviously, that have even traveled overseas, let alone lived overseas. And it's an entirely different life growing up. You know, a lot of people talk about how they went from, you know, this school to this school in their hometown, but we went to entirely different continents, whole different cultures, language, religion. Yeah. And I love that you said that about people coming into our country because we were literally the minority growing up. We were the minority. We were, you know, never left out. I was always very welcomed by people when we moved overseas. But you still felt like the odd man out, you know, especially being an American overseas, you know. So I love that you recognize that and say that. That's super important for what's happening in our country right now. We're not very tolerable. So
I feel like we could be a lot more tolerable. So,
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it makes you more tolerable. That's what has created the person that you are. You're 100% right. Yeah. It'll flow anywhere. Quick. All right. So tell me about moving back to the US. What was that transition like for you?
It was an extreme culture shock.
Yeah.
I feel like the stuff that they were doing in the US was nothing compared to, or the stuff that we were doing in Europe was nothing compared to what was happening in the US.
Yep.
So here I am, very naive, just starting to become a teenager.
Yep.
I'm going to want to fit in. I'm going to be rebellious. I'm going to act out. I'm going to, you know, to the max, because now you've just moved me again.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
I became, I mean, I always told my mom, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I've apologized to my parents 100 billion times.
I like to think I could have been worse, but I was, it wasn't the best. So, like, I finished school, and then I was into my 20s and I started just getting really bad into like drinking and drugs and all the good stuff.
Yeah.
So started getting really bad. I ended up getting a DUI and a drug charge. So I got put on probation and put in drug court. And maybe a month later, I got into a really bad car accident because I was drinking and driving. And I ended up smashing into a semi truck, and then a truck came and smashed in behind me. But apparently I still tried to leave the scene of the crime because I felt I could.
Yeah.
I did.
You were done there.
I mean, I didn't really get anywhere too far at all. Like maybe like one or two like steps up, and then obviously the ambulance came, and I got put in the ambulance and I got taken to the hospital, and I remember my chin was split open, and that's what I was there for. But I didn't even let them know, like, oh, my hand hurts or anything hurt. I didn't want to, the cop was like, here is what I'm charging you for. And then he goes, and he's like, I'm not going to physically arrest you right now. He's like, I am giving you a written arrest for DUI. He's like, you're going to need to appear in court. And unbeknownst to him, I had just gotten a DUI and a drug charge 1 month prior to that, and had gotten sentenced and whatever.
Right.
So I know after I did my research, like I ended up walking home. I think it was like 8 to 10 miles back to my house. And I did my research. I figured out that I could be, put in jail for about at least a year for violating probation, violating the drug court, and all of that. So I thought I was done for. I didn't even know what I was thinking. I think I just started going harder because I said, well, I'm screwed anyway. Like, why not? So I was at my friend's house one day, and I go out to my car, and on my car is a letter and a card from a police officer. How they knew where I was, I have no idea.
Because they're police.
I guess, but I don't know.
Right.
He tracked me. Okay. So literally tracked me. Said the letter said, this is officer whatever. He goes, I went through your file recently, so you've been going through some things. I need you to call me as soon as possible. I call him. He says, okay. He's like, I've been looking through your files and I see that you've been going through some things. So he's like, I'm going to do something for you today that is either going to change the course of your life or it's just not going to matter. He's like, I hope it changes the course of your life. And he said, I'm going to rip up the written arrest for the DUI. He's like, I'm just going to write you a ticket for negligence or like some, like a small misdemeanor.
Conduct or something.
Right.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to rip that up. You know, I hope that you do what you need to do. And that day quite literally changed the course of my life, because I didn't stop drinking, but I started thinking. I started being more aware. Started, you know, being more aware of myself.
Yep.
And nothing like that has ever happened since. So I feel like that was extreme protection on my part, because I mean, how you think about it, when does that actually happen to someone? I've never heard of that happening to someone. So the fact that it happened to me, it still is like surreal, but it did, because it changed the course of my life. So
it's going to change the course of your life even more so. So when we were talking earlier about how I could not become a licensed massage therapist because of my criminal record, it completely changed the whole course of your life. Yeah. Well, you got your, just for everyone to know, sorry, we went off on a little side track there. Leigh has she's a licensed massage therapist. She went to school for massage therapy. Her license obviously isn't up to date currently, but she is still a licensed massage therapist. You know, once you're licensed, you're licensed. And I had wanted to do massage therapy as well, but I couldn't go to school because of my criminal record. So Leigh and I were having a spiritual talk before we started the podcast, and I was telling her that. And as I'm sitting here listening to you, it literally came to me. The entire rest of your life was mapped out by that one decision. Yeah. Literally.
No, quite literally, because after that, my mom gave me The Secret, the book.
Yeah.
And I started divulging my whole self into that. The law of attraction, you know, all of that. And it started helping me. I ended up getting a job at Grand Lux Cafe, Cheesecake Factory. You know, I ended up being with them for 15 years. I ended up meeting a whole core group of my friendships that I'm still friends to this day with. You know, like, it totally changed the course of my life. And then from then on, like, you know, after a couple of years after I started getting into The Secret and the law of attraction, started kind of living my life a little bit better and just with more purpose and more thought. That's when I ended up, you know, I was best friends with my soon to be ex now.
Right.
I was best friends with him for years, but then, like, after I divulged into the law of attraction, I started like doing stuff, and him and I ended up getting together and, you know, started building a beautiful life. And we moved all over the country. We moved to Vegas. We moved to Pennsylvania. We moved to Jersey, you know, so, you know, it was a very amazing part of my life and a very pivotal part of my life.
Yeah.
For what that cop did for me, and it allowed me to move into the next stages of my life. Because
Tell me about that next stage.
So the marriage, we were together for, I believe, 15 years. We were together, married almost 8, best friends for 18 years. We were happy, you know. He worked a lot. He is a general manager of a restaurant, so, and he's been a manager as long as we've been together, so he's always worked a lot.
Right.
Which I'm from the restaurant industry too, so I totally understand it. You know?
Right. You don't leave.
The money's just too good, girl. The money's
right.
So We were together, and then, you know, we moved to Jersey about like 5-ish years ago, and that's kind of when things started to go downhill. I was not happy for the past 5 years, but I didn't know what to do about it. I didn't want to talk to my mom because I needed to figure this out myself. I didn't want to give up on a marriage, and I didn't want to give up on our friendship. I didn't get married to get divorced.
Right.
You know? So I said, okay, before I can figure out what's going on here in the marriage, why I'm so unhappy, why don't I start just diving into myself and seeing why I'm unhappy? Like,
Yep.
happiness shouldn't be based on someone else.
Right.
So I started digging into myself, like digging like hardcore, just in the trenches of the depths of my soul. And, you know, I figured out why I was so revengeful and why I hold grudges and why I get angry so fast and I'm like this and that. Figured it out, and I started just working on it.
That shadow work, man.
And I ended up learning to love myself so much that now I'm like obsessed with myself. So I can't help it. So,
I'm obsessed with you too.
thank you. I'm so now, like, so I got to the point, I'm like, okay, I know who I am. I know what I deserve. I know what I want. I know what I need. Now it's time to start digging into what is actually going on here.
Mm-hmm.
So, wouldn't you know it, that once I had decided to do that, things are just going to fall into my lap, because why the hell not?
Mm-hmm.
I started, so I'm going to kind of go back a little to come back up.
Okay.
So about 2.5 years ago, I started going through some crazy stuff at work. It was like everyone was against me. My mom had gotten sick. She was in the middle of her cancer, and like she had gotten better, and then she, you know, got another form of cancer, and then I started going through it at work, which, I mean, I'd been with them for 15 years. Like, why all of a sudden? And am I going through it at work? So, long story short, someone spread something about me at work, but my boss, I guess I want to say that she did not like the fact that I had a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
So she wanted me out.
Right.
So she never talked to me, never once said, oh, Leigh, this is what I heard. This is that. She's like, no, Leigh, this is what you did. This is what the investigation I did. You were wrong. You did this. This is your punishment. I said, I'm like, absolutely not. So, you know, after I figured out what was really going on, I let her know, and I said, you know, this is what's going on. Figure it out. Like, I had nothing to do with anything.
Right.
So that very week, I ended up getting a phone call from another general manager that I used to work with, and I was his lead trainer in Pennsylvania. And he called me and he said, hey, I just wanted to let you know that there's an Eddie V's Prime Seafood that's opening up right across the street from your house in the mall. He's like, I'm going to be the general manager. He's like, I want you to come over as my lead trainer. Wow. I said, this was that same week. I said, done.
All right.
Done. So I recruited all of the best people from Cheesecake Factory and brought them over to Eddie V's.
Nice.
I'm not very liked by, the general manager. So
Most leaders aren't.
right?
Yeah.
So then my mom got really sick, like right around the time that I was starting this job with Eddie V's. She said, Leigh, and just like her to always sacrifice herself. She said, Leigh, she's like, I need you to be established. I need you to do what you need to do. Go train, go do this, and then come see me. So I did, but that time it kind of took a while.
Right.
So, I didn't, and that's like one thing that I don't want to say regret, because I don't like to live in regret. I've learned to forgive myself for the things that I would regret.
Right.
I should have spent more time with her at the end of her life, and, but I feel like it was all for a reason.
Right.
Because I wouldn't, had things gone differently while she was alive and I had gone to take care of her, like I wouldn't have a job. I would still be at Cheesecake Factory. So it's just, everything worked the way it was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
So then I get to my mom, like she's incredibly sick and she just has to get to Boston because that's where she was born. Like she was born in Providence, but like the Boston hospital was the best one that she's ever been to. And she had to get there. So I had to get her there while she was extremely sick. And we were, in changing rooms in a hotel. Like we checked in the hotel and then we had to change rooms. And the room we changed into was room 143. So I looked at her, I said, Mom, I was like, look, it's 143. Do you know what that means? She's like, no, what does it mean? I go, it means I love you. She goes, oh, 143. She would love to learn those new little sayings, like the LOLs, the 143.
Yeah.
No, so
Oh.
throughout the week while we were waiting for her doctor's appointment, she would throw out, oh, 143, Leigh, 143.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward to the night that she dies, and she isn't conscious.
Right.
I'm sitting there, I'm in the chair, and I don't know. I was looking on my iPad for something, and then out of nowhere, it's really hard to explain, but it's kind of, I felt like something went through my body, kind of. Mm-hmm. And then because out of the blue, I just shivered and I looked up and I automatically knew my mom had passed. I don't know how I knew. I just knew. So I was like, how do I know this? I was like, no, there's no way. So I go, I look, I'm pretty sure she had passed.
Right.
So now I'm not sure what time any of this happened. I hadn't looked at a watch. So I broke down, obviously, and then I had to go look for her nurse. I couldn't find her nurse. Found a nurse. They went to find her nurse. The nurse came in, checked my mom, said, okay, I have to go get a doctor to announce the time of death, to make sure.
Right.
I said, okay, not sure how long that took. Doctor comes in, checks her, and proceeds to say her time of death is 1:43. Gives me the chills every time I tell that story.
Isn't it odd too that you were on episode 3 and 4?
Yeah. 13, 13, because she passed away on Friday the 13th, October 13th. And she was born on March 13th.
313.
So, and the 143 just falls right up in there.
Yep.
So, I knew from that moment on that something was completely different.
Right.
I didn't know what, but I knew something was completely different. And then I started having some really like weird feelings. I wasn't sure what they were. They were just really weird. And then fast forward to about 5-6 months ago, those feelings kept getting stronger and stronger. And I was like, all right, I hadn't said anything out loud to anybody. I just kept this in with these weird feelings. I said, I have to let this out. I have to tell someone. So my friend we ended up going out to dinner that night. And I ended up divulging all this information, like how for some reason I thought he was cheating on me. And I was like, but that's impossible, because this is one of those type of guys that everybody is like, there's no way. There is absolutely like no way.
Right.
Like I would be like, there's no way, to the point where I told him to sleep because he works an hour away from where we live.
Right.
So during the winter, bad weather, this, that,
Mm-hmm.
he gets off late, super late. I would often say, get a hotel, stay there, please. Like, I'd rather you be safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there are crazy drivers out there, especially in the middle of the night. Like, stay there. And you're close to work the next morning. I would say this all the time. That's how much I was like, he would never do anything like that.
Right.
So, that same night that I happened to spill it out to my friend at dinner, that same night, I come home and I'm sitting on the couch. I'm just watching some TV, just relaxing. My phone starts buzzing and then there's a text message. I don't know this number, but it said, hi, is this Leigh? Now, I don't know why, but the second that I saw this text message, like my whole body started tingling. It just started tingling, and something in me was like, screenshot this message. There's something about this message. I don't know who it is, but I know that they know me because they spelt my name right.
Yep.
And usually people spell my name wrong.
Right.
So I was like, all right, I have to put this to the side, because at that time it was late. I was like, I'm not going to deal with this right now. I had just like vented to my friend, you know, a lot of energy had gone out. So I was like, let me put this to bed. So the next day I notice and have a feeling that my husband's acting really shady, like real shady. So I had put my phone down. I went to go take care of my dog in the living room, blah, blah, blah. I came back. I was like, I can't find my phone. But something happened to where I got so excited that I went and burst into the bathroom that he was in to tell him the news. And he just looked really shady. It looked like he was like just looking at his phone. I was like, whatever. Come to figure out that my phone was missing. So I go to look for it, and it just so happens to pop up when he pops up. So immediately something inside me, a voice inside me said, look at your text messages. Go look for that text message from last night. So I go, it's not there. I'm like, okay. So I call my friend that I had been out to dinner with the night before, and I said, this is what's going on. She goes, Leigh, check in your recently deleteds. If you accidentally deleted it, it's going to be there.
Right.
Now, my illiteracy with telephones and cell phones is off the charts, because I said, I have a recently deleted. What?
Yup.
Like, how do you even get there? So she told me step by step how to get there. So I went there, wasn't there. I knew for a fact he had deleted the message.
Right.
I said, you just gave me the green light to go full-blown detective mode.
Yep.
Perfect. So I pay for a search engine. I put in the numbers, up pops 3 different women in the same age range. So I said, I guess I'm going to have to stalk all social media. So there I go. And ended up narrowing it down to 1. And then I was like, just kind of praying out loud, because that's from when my mom had been dying. That's the one thing that I started doing, was just praying.
Right.
And so I just continued doing that. And I was just praying. And I said, how am I supposed to know if it's actually this girl? A voice pops up in my head, says, you paid for one search engine, pay for another one. It'll tell you. And then, so I did that, and up pops this chick, the one that I had narrowed it down to. And as soon as I saw the name, my whole body started tingling, like the same way my body started tingling during the text message. I knew there was something. I knew it was her. I don't know what about her, but I knew it was her. So then I go through his phone, connect dots, still didn't think I had enough evidence. So my best friend says she sent a tracker my way. It's going to be coming on Tuesday. Track his car, and we're going to figure it out for sure. But we ended up getting into a fight on that Monday night, and I felt like I was being gaslit. So I said, absolutely not. Who is this? I know this and this. I know a lot more than I'm saying as well. So you can either tell me the truth,
right,
or we can go a totally different route. So me being the nosy person I am, I needed all the nitty gritty details. So he told me all the nitty gritty details.
right.
And he had been cheating for 4 years with the same woman. It was a whole other relationship. It was, meeting of the family, this, that.
Right.
And that the second that he told me that, I knew things were different, when all I felt was peace.
Right.
I didn't feel any anger. I wasn't sad. I was more grateful, because I had been so unhappy for so long.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, I was like we hadn't been physically, mentally, emotionally, intimate in years.
Right.
So I don't want to say it gave me the way out, but it made up my decision for me, because there are 2 things that I will never tolerate. You putting your hands on me and you cheating on me.
Right.
I'm worth way too much, and I did way too much work on myself to love myself,
mm-hmm.
to allow someone to treat me like that, no matter how long it's been.
Yep.
It's just not going to happen. But then I started thinking, can I really see him out in my life? Like, do I really think he's a horrible person? Do I think he is such a bad person? And I had to say, no, I don't think he's a bad person. I think he did a really shitty thing. I don't think he's a bad person, because he never once tried to initiate intimacy with me, like during those couple years that we weren't seeing eye to eye and stuff like that. So I knew what was possible doing what I did.
Right.
Because for me, I have to be emotionally and mentally all there.
Right.
So, like I said, he didn't try. He didn't, because a lot of men would have been like, you're my wife, this, that,
Right.
So the fact that he didn't, I had to respect that.
Yeah.
So that's when I decided, all right, the marriage is over.
Right.
There's no way. I'll never allow someone to treat me like that. But we can work on a friendship. But here are the boundaries that I'm putting up and everything I've been asking for in the marriage that has been making me unhappy, you have to now do that in order to prove to me that you would like a friendship with me.
Right.
Because if these boundaries aren't met, I have no problems cutting myself off. Like,
right.
no problems never speaking, hearing, seeing you ever again. And he knows that. I've done that plenty of times.
Right.
Like, once my energy, like, I will go hard for you.
Right.
Until I get to that breaking point.
Same.
So, that's where we're at now. We're in therapy, not trying to get the marriage back together because there's none of that. There's nope. But to get the friendship back together, to try to see if there's still something worth establishing there.
Right.
And that's where I'm at now with that. So,
yeah, because then tell me about that. You already know. I don't even need to say it.
So, a couple days after I found everything out, I reconnected with my high school sweetheart and my first love. And we are now trying to see what is still between us and what beautiful things we can build together.
Your old face, man. Your old
I know.
I light up every time. It doesn't matter how many times we talk about it. It's like brand new to you.
It is brand new to me. It's like the massive way that my life has completely 180'd, like a total shift. It's like a little bit of a shock, like 5 months ago I was married, having problems, yes, but I was married, this, that. And now it's like, oh no, I've reconnected with my first love and I'm still friends with this guy over here. And, everything's copacetic, but everything's so different. So it's just getting some used to. So
you're going to have a lot of things to get
everything
used to.
happens for a reason, bro. It's ridiculous.
You're
And every time
to get used to, man.
Yeah. It's exciting stuff, It's like a brand new life. And it's like, who could be so blessed?
People who listen.
With such a brand new life after being so unhappy.
People who listen. You've listened to what you were called for. And I want to know, well, I already know, but what do you want to say about where you see your life going from here? With everything that you know, everything you've been through, all this, divine intervention, divine guidance, your entire life, was set, literal lights on the ground directing you. And now you have that even more because, you're so connected to the spirit world. What now, Leigh?
Well, first off, I hope that any part of my story, can help someone. If it helps one person, then that's all I've done my job, but I also want people to understand that it's okay to choose peace, love, and happiness. Even after something horrible, it's okay to not choose the anger, rage, and hatred. It's okay to choose the peace. You always have a choice.
Yes.
You always have a choice. And I just want everyone to know that, there's so much more on the peaceful side than there's on the rageful side. So,
yep. And now you're going to be walking into that.
Yes.
Even more than we'll say.
No.
Why? Oh, all right, man. Is there anything else that you want to say before you head out?
You girl, keep doing the Lord's work. You're amazing.
I will.
I love you. Thank
I love
you.
you too, dude.
You know,
Yep.
it's been a blessing to reconnect with you after so long. And
No doubt.
I have a feeling that this is just the beginning. So
Oh, it is. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
let's do this.
Yeah. Everyone keep an eye out because, you know,
Yeah.
we got some things coming up.
Oh, we got things to do.
Mm-hmm. All right, man.
All
I love
right.
you. I'm glad you came on again to redo this.
Thank you so much for
I'm going to have you on again because we're going to be talking more about your spirit. It was 55 minutes and 45 seconds or 44 seconds when I said that. Yeah, because you got some spiritual things coming up that I definitely want the world hearing more of. So
I'd like to hear more too.
yeah. All right, man. I love you.
All right,
Thank you for
love you.
coming on.
All right. Bye.
All righty, guys. Leigh, man, it has been a really, really crazy reconnection between the two of us over the past several weeks. You literally have absolutely no idea what's going to happen in your life. There are no coincidences. And Leigh's story is so incredibly powerful. Oh, I love you too, Barb. It's incredibly powerful to me. She knew of that divine protection. She knew of, the divine guidance her entire life. And you can always choose to go in the opposite direction. She could have gone in a completely different way, not just from, being born in Colombia, starvation, poverty, but then, being left and alone all night long, wandering until she was found, adopted, a single child, traveling all over, a third culture kid. I mean, it's almost like a lack of stability while you're trying to create that stability. But she has always had guidance and protection. And that is such a driving force to me when I hear her speak. And then I hear her speaking about her marriage and the infidelity and the way that she was capable of not only seeing that she was unhappy in it, but that he was unhappy in the relationship as well, which then created that connection for forgiveness. How is she going to be upset with him when she was unhappy herself? I literally love that story of forgiveness so much, especially right now. Man, sorry. Sometimes I get these feelings of energy and I prefer to sit with them when they come to me because I'm extremely grateful. I'm aware of what and who it is. So I'm going to have Leigh on again. You guys need to keep your eye on her because she and I are going to be working on some things and more than likely bringing in a whole community of people around it. But yeah, when you have that kind of divine guidance and pure light, it has to be shared with the world. So anyway, all right. That is it for episode 34. Thanks for hanging out with us for the past hour, and we will see y'all next week. If no one told you guys today, I love you. We're all just walking each other home. We'll see ya.